We're back. Ruscin Zach, always a treat to catch up with offensive coordinator of the New York Jets, former Razorback Dowell Loggains, with us here on the Williams Tractor Hotline on Ruscin Zach. Dowell, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We'll talk your thoughts on Arkansas and Kendal Briles here in a little bit, but I got to ask you, what did you think of the virtual draft and how that all played out last week?
Hey, it was a unique experience. It's something that we've never had to do. It could be a little bit nerve-wracking. We'd be sitting in the middle of draft meetings. I'd be sitting in my office at home, and my son would bust in a draft meeting, and like all of a sudden there's like a big pause, and you're that guy, But it was, our people did a really good job, and we used Microsoft Teams, which is Microsoft's the sponsor of the NFL, and it was a great deal. I know a bunch of people are using Zoom and different things. It was definitely, we're in unique times for sure.
I mean, you've got to be thrilled. I mean, they've gotten you've got Sam Darnold. They got you a couple of toys to work with. Got you a big left tackle. Got you a receiver that can flat go. I mean, you have to be smiling now that you've got all of these weapons built around a guy. And you guys had a very strong. You were one of the hottest teams in the AFC. I know I've texted you this before. One of the hottest teams in the AFC at the end of the season last year.
We were, and it's a tribute to Sam and a lot of the people in this organization to start the way we did. But we finished 6-2. And obviously Sam missed some games early in the season with some stuff he couldn't control. But we're really excited about how the draft went. Really excited about how free agency went. We hired the general manager from the Philadelphia Eagles, Joe Douglas, who does a really good job. And we're fired up about where we're at. And we're trying to really just do everything we can this time to whenever they say, hey, get back to work, that we're ready to go and take advantage of all these virtual meetings and doing the things that the NFL allows you to do right now.
Is you can't be in the facilities and everything, we know that, but on some of these virtual meetings, do you just get the feeling everyone's spirits are higher now that Brady's not in the division anymore?
Yeah, I can't lie. Well, yeah, absolutely. You definitely he's such a good player, but they've done a really good job there building a good program, and they'll still be successful. Obviously, any team that loses a franchise player that is maybe the best that ever played, but they're going to be a good competitive team.
So what have you heard from the league? Obviously, the draft goes off I think the new year started the new year started on the 20th of April or so. What is the league telling you guys about OTAs and into your summer programs and possibly into training camp in July?
I don't. And to be honest, the league, I'm sure they're working through a bunch of different things right now, and not just football, but like there's a lot of things going on in the world right now that are probably more important than football, and taking care of people's families and taking care of the players and all the people that do such a good job, making the league what it is. And it's really, there's not much talk. They're doing the best they can, trying to figure everything out and coming up with the right plan. And we're just doing our part. It's, like I said, with virtual meetings, and the most important thing is you take advantage of this time, because you could sit around and complain and do all that, but these virtual meetings have been good, and it's been unique, and I think it's really good it's been good for everyone, because you're isolated at your house and you can't get out. You're quarantined, but now to get some interaction with the coaches and players, that part's been really, really good.
Yeah, we're talking with Dowell Loggains here, the Jets offensive coordinator on Ruscin Zach. The NCAA is having some virtual meetings be allowed as well with coaches and players. You're going through that. How is that kind of teaching, or maybe more, how is that working for you as, being the guy putting the plans in and then doing the instruction there? How's that working virtually versus being in the meeting room, going over clips, play after play or whatever?
There's definitely a challenge, because you can't just get on the board and start drawing stuff up. You have a whiteboard set up, and with technology the way it is today, you can pull up the video and you can share your screen, and everyone's looking at the things you're looking at. The first couple times you do it, it's awkward, because you can't see their faces, and all they see is your video screen, and you're talking about plays and doing those things. And it's a little bit awkward, but as you go through, we just finished our first week this week, and it definitely is awkward. But we're still getting the things we need to get done going back through our self-scout, going through our cut-ups, and trying to correct the mistakes we made from last year.
Have you guys had internal discussions about, what's sort of your drop dead day? When do you feel like you guys would have to make a decision on when this thing goes? Do you need, Brian Kelly was on ESPN saying that the colleges needed 6 weeks. How much time do you guys need for a ramp up, maybe to get into before the season could start?
Yeah, I honestly not the right person to answer that. I know this. Like, we're going to be where our feet are, and we're going to prepare every day as if they say, hey, let's get back to work tomorrow, we're ready to go. And those things are the things we can't control. And it almost becomes wasted energy to think about anything more than the next meeting and preparing and doing the best job you can for the offense and the quarterback. Same way for the players. Like, we can all deal in hypotheticals, and we don't know, and I don't know that anyone knows, but you better make the most of the time and the resources you have right now, because that's really the only thing that matters.
Hypotheticals are exhausting. I mean, even for those of us who aren't, planning for a football season, just to hear all the different scenarios on what could happen, it makes your head hurt.
Oh, absolutely. The thing I learned at an early age, my first boss in the NFL was Bill Parcells. My second boss was Jeff Fisher in Tennessee, and he was the master saying, every time someone asks him a hypothetical, I don't deal in hypotheticals.
That's a good way. I'd like to get that with my kids. That'd be very, very beneficial.
With their kids, wives, all of it.
Okay, let's talk about something I know that's very near and dear to your heart, Razorback football. You've had a chance to kind of observe from afar the last couple of seasons, and you and I have had this conversation about what is it about this place that is so unique that maybe the previous staff didn't understand. If you're looking at qualities in a head coach, what do you see in Sam Pittman as being sort of the right fit?
Well, number one, Zach, I'm still a little disappointed in you that you didn't have Matt Jones in your top 5 Arkansas quarterback. The streets are talking. That did get back to me. But you were smart enough to put Joe Ferguson in the top 5. So.
And I think, hang on. When I say quarterback, I'm thinking like Sam Darnold in the pocket throwing the ball. Top 5 athlete, absolutely. But
I think the week you said that, he might have been the SEC Player of the Week or so, like Decade Player of the Week or something.
I have an impeccable sense of bad timing.
No, it's interesting when you get to go through these draft processes. You rely a lot on the college coaches, and so you develop these relationships with these guys because you got to call, and they're developing players to our level, and you develop relationships by calling and asking these guys. You figure out the guys you can trust, and I talked to Coach Pittman a couple weeks ago about a couple of his guys, and I mean, what an awesome draft for him, right? Like,
yeah.
2 first-round linemen. It's huge credit to what a coach he is, and I talked to him, and I could feel how genuine he was, and I got on the phone thinking, like, man, what a great guy. And the impressive thing was, as he's talking and he's selling his players, he's telling you everything, you also know, you could just feel that the strengths and weaknesses, he told his players. And I just think you could feel like that genuine man, and you could feel like, hey, this guy's a guy that's going to coach the guy hard. He's going to develop the player as well and develop the man. It was really impressive just to see, because he did a really good job. Coaching these 2 guys to win the first round. He's got a long track record. When I got off the phone, though, I was excited. Like, wow, this guy's a really good person. I'm glad he's sitting in my alma mater right now, and we're pulling for him for sure.
Well, that's the thing that I think Zach and I would agree. We've talked to him a couple times here on the show, and I think this state just kind of got burned out on slogans. Like, slogans weren't doing anything, and he's not a slogan guy. He said that before, and he's very open about, this is going to be something we'll deal with. We may have to do this or that, but he's also, he's on top of this stuff. He's got a plan. Everyone's going to keep saying he has a plan, and I think it's evident.
Yeah, and I think that it just comes out in who he is. I think that he's going to coach the man first, and in doing that, they're going to become the best student athlete they could be. He's going to set them up to be successful after life. But he's also developing guys to play at the next level, which is impressive. The slogan thing, now, we do have yes, sir, though, right?
We do, yes.
Like, we do have a slogan,
Yeah.
But I think we're in good hands. I'm excited about him. We got a guy that's got a lot of character and brings a lot of credibility. Coached in the SEC for a long time at a bunch of different programs, and he's got great mentors.
I'm going to ask you a question that's right in your wheelhouse. This is a schematic question.
Yeah.
Whenever they say, whenever you talk about the golden days, the glory days of Arkansas offense, we talk about Bobby Petrino's offense. I sent you some information last night. Can you give me, in layman's terms, a basic understanding of the difference between like what Bobby Petrino ran, which was a pro-style offense, sort of like what you guys run, versus what Kendal Briles is going to run, which is a spread everybody out, go fast. What's the essential difference, other than tempo, in scheme between those two styles of offense?
Well, number one, I'm gonna correct you right there, because a lot of people that are my age would say the golden days of Arkansas football are Ken Hatfield winning Cotton Bowls and averaging 9 wins a season with Quinn Grovey. We're running the triple option.
No.
But no,
It helps when you got that Barry Foster guy back there too. That helps a ton.
All of them. And Quinn Grovey, Barry Foster, Edie Jackson, James Roush, all those guys. I think that you can win a lot of different ways. And I learned this at an early age. I don't think it's what you do, it's how you do it, and you better do it better than everyone else. Well, I think what Coach Petrino did was he coached the passing game better than everyone in that conference at that time. And he knew how to practice. He knew how to rep things. He knew how to put pressure on the quarterback and get the most out of them. He developed the quarterbacks. He did a great job with Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson, two guys that I have a lot of respect for. I got to coach Tyler in Tennessee and always had a good friendship with Ryan Mallett. And I think that's what he did. His schemes were great, for sure. He ran a pro-style offense in college football, but he coached it. He coached the details better than everybody. He practiced better than everyone. He demanded all those things, and it showed up. Practice execution becomes game day reality, and it was fun. Those years he was there, he was lighting up scoreboards, and it was a blast to watch. And Coach Briles will bring he's going to bring a different style, and any style can be successful. The most important thing is that they're able to get the things and the principles of the offense taught and how they see it, and they get the execution they want. And it'll look different. It'll be a no-huddle, tempo, spread offense that a lot of people are running in college football right now. And I'm really excited to see, how the wide splits, and they're a little bit different than a lot of people when you go back and you watch Baylor and how wide their receiver splits are, how they create numbers in the run game, the RPOs, and the bubble screens, and stretch people horizontally and vertically.
You've got a guy, and I'm going to ask you just kind of I'm going to nerd out on you for a second. You've got a guy coming in this year, a wide receiver out of Baylor. You got Denzel Mims. I mean, this guy can flat go. Yeah. He can run. He can catch. He's a big dude. What's the learning curve like coming out of a spread offense in college? And this is a true spread offense that they ran at Baylor to something like you do. What is that learning curve like? Because you always hear how much trouble quarterbacks from spread systems have for a wide receiver, or for some of these kids that have never dealt with the minutia that you deal in.
Right. I think the biggest aspect becomes, especially from the college to the pro game, is the protections. And, there's just the volume of them, the different looks. The 20-hour rule really, restricts college coaches to being able to do everything that they know. And they, just can't teach everything, where they get 20 hours a week. We're getting 20 hours a day. I mean, we're getting these guys from 7:30 in the morning to 7 p.m. So I think the difference, just the volume of things that come. So is there a difference? Well, we drafted, when I was in Tennessee, we drafted Kendal Wright from Baylor, and he had a chance to play for Coach Briles. And his first year in the league, I think he led the league in third down receptions and 95 catches. And it was an adjustment because there was his routes had to be bigger in the NFL. And there were certain things, because they don't need that to win in college football. They're trying to create numbers, angles, and grass, and they're trying to spread you out horizontally and attack you that way, where what happens in pro football is you got to go win on a comeback one-on-one. And so the numbers and the spaces, the hashes, they're different, and the game is a little bit different that way, especially if you play in the pro style, in a tempo offense, a spread offense. It is different in the NFL.
We're talking with Dowell Loggains, Jets offensive coordinator here, former Razorback. on Ruscin and Zach. We brought him up a little bit earlier in the conversation. I got to get a story about you. You have a front row seat for Matt Jones. You're there signaling the plays in during his college career. What is the moment? Tell us a story or two where the play comes in and it doesn't go the way it's supposed to, but he ends up either scoring or having a long run, and you're like, well, that worked out.
Oh, well, I mean, I could tell you millions of them. Millions of them. The funny story with the whole thing is, so Matt was a couple of years younger than me, and when we got there, our quarterback room, it was a great room. NFL players, Matt Jones, Tavares Jackson, Ryan Soran, Zach Clark, myself. And at the time, we didn't know. I mean, we're seeing T-Jack, and he's got the strongest arm we've ever seen next to Joe Ferguson, and we're sitting there, and, man, this guy's good. And all of a sudden, like, Matt Jones has this huge game or a huge scrimmage one day, and like, oh, okay. And like, wow, this guy's like, he's so like, he's just lackadaisical in his movement, and he's so chill. So Coach Nutt grabs me one day. He's like, hey, I need you to room with Matt Jones. I'm like, Coach, I don't want to room with Matt Jones, man. We're different. And he's like, no, I need you to room with him. I need you to get it right. I'm like, Coach, I'm going to choke him. And this guy's a foot taller than me, and you guys are going to find me in a hotel room the night before the game, like, unconscious. Like, he's like, no, I need you to room with him. And after that, like, I just developed such a tremendous respect for the guy because he could do anything on the football field. Now, his first love, he'll tell you, is basketball. And he used to drive me nuts. So, man, you're going to be first round. Like, as talented as you are, you're 6'6". You run 4.37. You're the most, at that time, he was the most electrifying player in college football and the SEC, Zach, not just Arkansas.
Yeah.
But, and this is the way he could take over a game. I mean, it's play after play. You go back to all the overtime games. I mean, we're playing the first one, the seventh heaven. We're playing Eli Manning at Ole Miss. And we're drawing stuff. 2-point plays are out. Like, yeah, I mean, there's no more extra points. And we're drawing stuff up in the dirt. We're throwing touchdown passes to Jason Peters, who's going to be a Hall of Fame left tackle who's our tight end. And Matt's running around. It turns into street ball. And those are the things. Then you go to Kentucky, and it's the same thing. It was, you just knew good things were going to happen when the ball was in his hands, and he could improvise so well. And, you know, it just, all those magical plays he made, miracle on Markham, when we're down 17-7. And I think Coach Nutt's told the story. I don't think he'd thrown the spiral all day.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're getting hammered. And Tally hits the big run, and then all of a sudden you start feeling it, and you could see Matt, like, kind of, he's like, we're good. I'm like, hey, let's go. Hey, we're good. I got it. Like, no, man, let's go. Hey, we're good. We're good. And you just never felt like, hey, we're not out of this game ever with Matt because, you know, in a split second, he's gone. It's a 60-yard touchdown, and to bring the team back the way he did so many different times and to win so many different ways, like, it was an awesome experience. I was glad I got to be a part of it and got to watch it, you know, go to the SEC championship game and win 9 games and beat Texas in Austin. It was, wow, what a great experience.
We got about a minute left. I actually want to talk about an All-American quarterback. How's my guy BQ doing?
Oh, Brady?
Yeah.
He's probably depressed right now because he can't get in the gym. You know, he's sitting at Fort Lauderdale. He can't lift, and you know, he's like the swollest quarterback to ever enter the NFL draft. So that's probably killing him. He's had to stay inside more, so you know he's pasty, no tan. You know, he's probably struggling.
I think we're all that way. I'm just swollen and pasty in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. We accept that, though.
That's my lot in life.
That's right.
Yeah, it's different for Brady. He has a higher standard than we do.
Dowell Loggains, Jets offensive coordinator, with us here on Ruscin and Zach. Thanks for the time, man. Stay safe, all right?
Oh, definitely. Thank you, guys, man.
Dowell Loggains, former Razorback, with us here on Ruscin and Zach. All our guests join us.